Hello and welcome to Elements of Design, a podcast where I interview design leaders, mentors, influencers, and evangelists and talk to them about their design journey, how to be a better designer, and the future of design in India. I'm your host, Manav Madan, a UX designer based out of New Delhi, India. My guest today is Subin Idiculla. Subin has been working in the design industry for 15 years now. He has built for enterprise products, e commerce, and classified businesses. He has worked in companies like JKT, Naukri, Snapdeal, Carwale, and is currently the director of design at housing.com. So let's welcome Subin to our show.
So, Subin, you've been doing design for 15 years now. Take us through what your design journey has been like.
So yeah, it's a pretty long journey so far. Started off as a full stack designer in those days. So if you see in those, I started off in 2005 to be very specific. So back in those days, there wasn't a very concept of like a UI UX design kind of thing, right? It's a kind of full stack model where designers used to do the front end coding also, right? At the same time, they have to work on the visual design and very cohesively working with the development unit right out there. So I started off carrying that in those times, right? And also, if you see my background, after doing masters, in computer science, so though design was always a passion at the time, right? So I didn't go for a formal school of education in design, right? So that way, it was a kind of a, you can say, blessing in disguise. Okay. That of knowing the technology and also, right? How the after your design journeys and how it's getting coded also, right? So that it actually gave me a boost to start off. Then there's several era zones came in, like where infusion of UX started in India, right? Where people really started thinking about users and all. So I also typically pivoted from that zone to this one, right? Where I thoroughly understood the model of UCD, what you call user-centric design model. Okay. Previously, when I started with JKT, right? So it was the kind of a model where I was looking for BA, business analyst, where first project was Indian Air Force, right? We are not actually meeting the clients over there. I mean, it's a fairly kind of a medical app, where medical application, where IPD, OPD models are there. We're not going in Bangalore to see how the overall function works, right? But obviously, business analyst gives us the requirement, and we do the pure design and give the prototypes to the HTML development team. So after learning from multi-visibility analyst teams over there, why you gonna actually get to the design shoot without knowing your user, right? So that was a kind of a transition from that HTML to a kind of graphic HTML guy to a UX guy, right? And work with Naukri and then Snapdeal and then housing, Carwale, then housing over here. Okay. So it's if you see, it's a very varied kind of an experience where I always try to get to a new kind of domain. Starting from it was a kind of a very enterprise model in JK, then to a recruitment sector where I work for for job seekers and recruiters over there. I think I learned a lot from Naukri, which actually helped me building up the when I moved to Snapdeal. It was a kind of a startup when I moved out there. So again, it's a very kind of a roller coaster ride over there. Even when I joined Snapdeal, it was a very nascent stage of e-commerce in India. Only Flipkart was there. Amazon didn't pitch in that time. So a lot of things, very new to us, right? How our search should be structured, right? So that different audiences, different personas comes to Snapdeal. Some may be locator, some may be browser, right? So we have to adhere to everyone's tastes and needs and all, right? Yeah. So then from there, I moved to Carwale. Carwale, again, it's a new domain for me. Totally new domain, automobile sector. So the two us were there. To create a formidable team over there and bring the design system to a level so that it should be a consistent experience across platform, like maybe app or probably web and mobile. Move to housing over here. Housing has a very great journey of design. Core USPs on the way the experience is given to a user, right? Now we're trying to take it to the next level. So probably in some time we'll be seeing a new completely brand new design version of housing.
You have really invested time at every organization that you have been in, 6 years or so in Snapdeal and 6 years or so in Carwale.
2 years. 4 years in Naukri.
4 years in Naukri. So it's a fairly large amount of time. How do you choose where do you want to work? then how do you decide that you have to stay for a longer duration of time at a certain place of where design is constantly changing, new trends are coming, new industries are popping up?
My journey, what I learned. So if you stick to one organization and understand the overall realms of the user persona of that particular domain, and create or probably solve that problem to an extent that you understand that particular domain very well, then you clear your concepts and be in a position where you can directly nitpick the basic user problem in any particular domain. So I think one should invest in the early years, give more stable years to an organization to understand the overall ecosystem of that particular thing.
After a certain point of time, you have a sense of expertise in your domain. Isn't it intimidating to switch to another domain and then start from zero?
Thing is that when I probably even working with Naukri or probably for Snapdeal, never thought for a crazy growth over there, right? Always stick to the basics over there, right? With company. Obviously, Snapdeal and me both are now growing together, right? Because they're also learning the e-commerce, by years and years so far. So it was always a kind of an excitement over there when you closely work with co-founders, with your seniors over there. You have the empowerment over there, and you have a strong, stable team with you, right? So what else you need, right? So it's always a kind of a passion to solve some problems which has never been solved in India, right?
So the question I want to ask you is, and this is the question that I'm asking every single guest: what's the most underrated thing and the most overrated thing about design?
Most underrated thing still it's the basic UX, right? Which we call as user-centric design philosophy. When a designer, when actually is into a design room or design boardroom, you should understand the user empathy of how your user gonna use that particular thing, right? It's not about you, your product manager or co-founder or anybody else, right? It's clearly about user. Have you really gone to the field over there? How that user gonna use your application? So how at the ground level it's being used. So that's still, I feel, for many particular apps, it's still an underrated thing, right? So they just, go by the whims and fancies of the current, the way the design philosophy is happening. Overrated thing is that, as I said, the motion science is a kind of the gimmick, or we can say the buzzword, across town, that you should have motion design. I'm a true admirer of motion design, but I think unnecessary motion always, actually takes the line of vision from the core function over there. You should actually use in a very justified manner where the motion should be done, right? Say in your last cart page, payment page over there, right? When serious person is really serious in terms of how to complete that transaction, over there, if you put some unnecessary kind of you can say a distraction, right? It actually creates some sort of panic among user, right? No, because actually he's about to put his credit card details over there or complete the transaction. So we should be very judgmental in terms of what kind of experience we are giving, right? So in my sense, it's really a good tool to communicate the visual language to a user, but we should see the comfort level also, or probably the critical part of that particular journey where you're using. So in my sense, that's the two parts of it.
So how does one designer or a designer, someone who's the only designer or a couple of designers in a company, evangelize design in their organization? Because design can actually bring a lot of change in an organization. Like we were talking before the podcast, you were telling me that introduction of oxygen design system in Carwale did a major change in the company, and they took that metaphor to a next level, to the point that they started planting trees inside their office and plants inside their office, which is a very big organizational change that design can bring to an organization if done right.
See, you can design all these layers on top of it, right? But we shouldn't lose sight of a basic UX, right? Your model should actually should work. That's the first key. So a young designer, in my sense, should actually understand the user psyche first. How a user is coming to your site, or what it's going to do, what kind of needs, the difference between need and have. It should be very, very much clear, right? So then only I think with time you bring a lot of layers on your design thing. Then with an experience you become a kind of a full stack, or probably a better designer in my sense. So I think the first thing first, young designers should basically focus on the user needs first, in my sense, right? And do all the conventional tools we have, like we use heuristic evaluation, card sorting, or different user research pattern to get to a frame where really understand the basic user needs of that particular thing, right? When you have solved the user problem, right, then you can go for anything over there, right, on top of it. Now it's your baby. You can do anything on top of it, or probably any kind of delight you can add on it, because your basic things functioning. So if your UX is broken and then you keep on adding on the different any kind of layer on top of it, it doesn't make sense. So I think good design should prevail first.
Okay. What do you think about the future of design in India?
So I see now you see there's an era of bots and different AI thing coming up, right? Where you see, I've seen like multiple banks also, latching onto this AI thing, where you don't even need to come to bank. You have a kind of personal assistant, online personal assistant over there with multiple query or probably parameters. You will get to see, like what kind of action you need to do or what kind of service they're gonna impart. Right, so they are actually moving the human across all the channels, right? So it's all the AI and the user. So now slowly, if you're seeing the overall the domain, AI is picking up everywhere, right? So now the overall interface is losing out, right? If you see Alexa, if you see Echo, wherever, everywhere it's a voice and the AR, VR, right? Yeah. Where this designless kind of a state, right? Where just the matter of voice you can get your things done, right? So we are living that particular era in that world, right? Okay. See how AI becomes stronger, right? Still, it's a technology. It has limitations, right? Where there, I think the designers actually pitch in, right? Now designers also need to pitch their game. They need to elevate their empathy, user empathy. So now AI can consume things from a user, but to create a new domain, obviously you need to feed in those things, right? But obviously as a designer, you can actually go and meet user and understand the empathy model and create something really unique which AI can't do. Okay. AI takes time to learn and get things functional, right? But obviously now, in my sense, designers should actually leave from the template world where they're just doing the same copy paste work. Or probably same kind of taking influence from other sides. So that era is gone. Now AI is beating a really hard lot of. AI is beating really heavily on all the design things. I think here designers should excel in the way the user research is done, the way they see a different kind of an experience to a user, which looks more delightful and more personal. Right, which will probably, I think, when the AI or the impact of AI gets subsided, then this kind of thing will come, right? So there's already time has gone that we should actually move into different design patterns and the way the personalization needs to be done in the overall design scheme of things. Yeah.
The last segment is rapid fire round. So I'll ask you 6.
Quite scared of rapid. Yeah.
No, it's very easy. So it's a rapid fire round. I'll ask you 6 questions. It's very easy. You just have to. You don't have to think a lot. Okay. That's the thing about rapid fire. Yeah. So whatever comes to your mind, just say it. Behance or Dribble?
Dribble.
Favorite typeface?
Linotype.
Sorry?
Linotype.
Leto. Okay. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Favorite emoji?
Smiley.
There are like a lot of smileys. Any specific particular smiley?
Generic smiley.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea. Sorry, coffee.
Coffee. Yeah. Favorite app? Fast.
Zomato.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a question where okay, you can change that. Swiggy. You can change that. Okay. So that was fun, I guess. That was actually fun. So I don't know. Favorite app is the question. Just everyone gets stuck.
Because we are so subjective and we used to everyone have a very fan of any particular app, right?
Yeah.
And it keeps on changing because you have a lot of options available, right?
Yeah.
So it's always a tricky question.
Yeah.
Each particular.
Yeah. Chalo. Great. Now, Subin, where can people find you on the internet?
So I'm actually there on LinkedIn. I'm there on Instagram. I'm there on. I'm yet to be online on my own private profile link.
Okay.
Right. Sooner I'll be I'm
Okay.
sharing my thoughts and my views on that.
Yeah.
I'm still in that kind of a state where I'm creating content for me and
Okay.
I'll be publishing sometime.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Elements of Design. Links to everything mentioned in the episode will be available in the show notes below. To listen to our previous episode, search for Elements of Design in your favorite podcast app and make sure you hit subscribe. If you like the episode or the podcast, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or any podcast app that you're listening to. It will help the show gets discovered and it would mean a world to me. If you have any feedback, suggestion, or if you just want to say hi, please reach out to me on Instagram at UXANDMORE. That's UX and more, one word. And with that, I'll take a leave. Hope to see you in the next episode. And remember, work hard and be nice to people. Jingui.